Hi, welcome back to my channel, and this sound off is about Gizelle's appearance on Carlos King's podcast and what she had to say about Candace and Chris, y'all. Let's talk about this. So a lot of my mutuals, they love to say that Gizelle does her job and she clocks out and goes home and she ain't worried about RHOP. But that's a lie. That's a lie. She be worried. A lot of us like to think, oh, Gizelle is unbothered. You can't say nothing to get to Gizelle. She might have a good poker face, but the bitch be bothered. What she had to say on Carlos King's podcast really let me know, like, the girl, she be bothered. She be reading the comments. So I just feel like Gizelle's doing a little bit of damage control because we ain't never known her to go and defend nothing, never had nothing to say about whatever happens on the show. Whatever happens on the show stays on the show. She don't normally do no interviews or she try to backtrack, none of that shit. But this time, she doing things a little different. And I think it's because she knows she's gone too far. She tells Carlos that, you know, Candace made it a big deal. She's talking about it. She's dragging it the entire season. She says that Candace keeps talking about it. She keeps bringing it up. That's why it won't die down. She should have just made Chris apologize and they would be able to move forward, but she's not emotionally mature and that she overreacted. She also says a grown woman would have gone to her man and say, what did you say to her? And apologize. And I was just like, Gizelle, you shouldn't have said none of this. You shouldn't have said nothing. You really shouldn't have said nothing. I ain't never really believed Gizelle. I've really been trying to understand where it is she's coming from. Like maybe the lady really felt uncomfortable. I'm now feeling like, bitch, you just lied. You just lied. You flat out lied. You know you've taken it too far. You see that the audience is not buying your BS.
One thing about the comments, they are not on your side.
And you just want it to go away. But it ain't gonna go away. We got to get to the bottom of this because you can't say stuff like what you said and it just go away. What do you mean a grown, like she should have just ignored it. She even gave an example about like the binder. She said she sat there during the binder and didn't say nothing because she didn't owe anybody an explanation. That made me really look at Gizelle funny. Is that what you did with Jamal? Like when people were coming up to you with a pregnant stomach and saying, hey, your husband got me pregnant, you just ignored them? You just sat there and act like you didn't hear what they had to say? Is that what you did? Because what do you mean? A grown woman would have just told him to apologize and keep it moving. No, a grown woman gonna ask questions. A grown woman is going to ask you what happened and then ask her husband the same questions. A grown woman is going to investigate. You said that this man lured you to your... Actually, she claims she never said that Chris lured her to an empty room. But that's what she said, girl. We saw you. That's what you told Robin. That's what you told Candace. We saw it. It's only been 4 episodes. You absolutely said that he lured you back to an empty room, and Cal said Chris knew it was empty because he said goodbye to him when he was leaving. You can't tell. I mean, I'm not going to say what you can do, but when you tell someone that their husband lured you back to an empty room and it made you feel uncomfortable, how do you expect them to let that go? Because if that's not the man she knows Chris to be, hello, we got a problem. What you shared with Candace is earth-shattering. It's worthy of calling your lawyer and starting up the process. Like, it's not something you just say, girl, boy, go apologize to her and we just be over it. Maybe that's what you did with Jamal, but every woman can't do that. Everybody don't move like that. Oh, just tell him to apologize so we can move on. No. We all got questions. We want this matter investigated. We want to get down to the nitty gritty. And it's just like, I already said I don't believe that Gizelle was uncomfortable, because if someone, whether it's a man, woman, whomever, if they make you feel uncomfortable, if we are to believe what you said, that Chris said, hey, can I speak to you privately? Or can I speak to you in your hotel room? You should have said no. I don't know. I don't want to speak to you. I don't want to speak to you. You were already uncomfortable. That's what you said. You said you were already uncomfortable because he DMs you on Instagram. When he tells your kids happy birthday, when he comments on certain things, it makes you feel uncomfortable. So when he said, hey, can I go back to your room with you and talk? I don't really believe that that's what he said, but let's just say he said that. Why didn't you say no? You let him in the room, so that says you're comfortable with him talking to him in the room. So if you did not raise alarm and say, that doesn't make me feel good, that doesn't make me feel comfortable, how would he know? How would he know that he crossed the line? How would he know that he made you feel away? It's like, I don't know, Gizelle, I don't know, you didn't think this one through. You really didn't think this one through. Because I remember the reunion. I don't even have to go back and watch the shit. I remember during the reunion, before y'all even really got into things, Ashley was already saying, oh, Chris is depressed. It seems like the pandemic has him depressed because we see him drinking more and he's just not being himself. Ashley started that shit. And you started in the season saying that Chris was riding Candace's coattails. Candace sings and she acts and she's doing all these things and Chris is riding her coattails. She didn't come to you with this matter. You don't know what that man does. You don't know what he brings into that household. You don't know a damn thing. But you decided in your brain that Chris was riding Candace's coattails. Even though she told you, I'm not paying him to manage me. I'm not doing any of this. This is just what we do for each other as husband and wife. When Chris came out on the stage at the reunion, during Ray and Karen's segment, he interrupted because I think it was something about Ray was being supportive of Karen, right? And Chris interrupted and he was like, oh, well, that's nice. Why is it that when Ray supports Karen, everybody's cool with it, but me supporting Candace is an issue? And Gizelle said because Ray has provided for Karen for over 20 years, that's the missing component in yours and Candace's relationship. And if y'all remember, like I remember, Chris got Gizelle ass together on that stage. He let her know, like, ma'am, you don't know what I've done for my wife. I've been paying bills since I met her. I've been paying car notes since I met her. I was paying half of her. I was paying her rent since I met her. I did not take on the full mortgage because we were not married. He let her know. Once we were married, I took on the entire mortgage until we moved and bought our own house. And they was all sitting on that stage, stuck on stupid. Face just stuck, looking dumb. Because y'all made assumptions about Chris and Candace's life when y'all don't live in their home to know what they do or what they don't do. Gizelle was embarrassed. So after Chris got you together on that stage, and then the whole issue, he caused up a stir or whatever. They say he shook the table because he didn't like the line of questioning when it came to Candace. He didn't like them putting her on the spot when she had to sing and all that shit. We're to believe that after all that happened, he went back to the room and tried to seduce you. He had his wife's face on his t-shirt and he went to the room with you in your praise dancer costume and tried to bag you. I think, Gizelle, you didn't think this through. I really think you didn't think this through. And then you want them to just let it go. You want an apology. I hope you never get that apology. But you want an apology and you want them to just let it go. Because according to you, if Candace would have just let it go and made Chris apologize, y'all wouldn't be talking about it. Even though this little matter has spread throughout the group. Not because Candace is telling everyone, but because you, Robin, Ashley, and Mia are telling everyone. You talked about this with Robin. Then you talked about it with Candace. And then Robin talked about it with Mia. And then Karen said in her sit down with you that Ashley called her and told her about it, as well as Mia. But it's Candace's fault that it has gone the way that it has gone. You told on yourself with that. You should have never agreed to talk to Carlos King because he let you tell on yourself. He really did. How was it Candace that brought the matter to everyone? And then you had Mia, you had lying ass lie Mia co-signing for you. And production embarrassed her ass like they always do. Yeah, Gizelle, you didn't think this through. You didn't think this through. I think from day one, Candace has gotten under Gizelle and Ashley's skin in such a way. They want to humble her so bad. They want to humble Candace so bad. And what better way to humble a woman than to tell her, your man want me, your man want to be with me, your man wish he had a girl like me, your man like it. When she say, oh, Ashley, you got a big ass forehead, Ashley could be like, well, girl, your man was trying to get with this big ass forehead down to the W. When she say, Gizelle, your outfits are tacky, well, your man like it. Your man was trying to holler at me last year. Like, I really felt like y'all didn't think it through. And Ashley, she always gonna get away with it. She get away with everything. But Gizelle, girl, Gizelle, you gonna be left holding the bag. Even at Watch What Happens Live last night, Robin is even trying to cape for you. Robin, who we thought was gonna be the voice of the reason this season, was down to Watch What Happens Live, trying to help you, trying to save you from drowning in your lies. Yeah, Gizelle, you really stepped in it this time. And this is the thing with Robin, like this is where Robin always drops the ball. Robin don't be it don't be Robin. It be Ashley and Gizelle. The tacky twosome, they be starting the shit. And then Robin always comes in and helps them. She helps take the blame. And Ashley always gets away with it. She always hides her hands and she's never caught. And no one ever blames Ashley for shit. I don't know. Yeah, Gizelle, you really fucked up this time. You really did. You really did, because your story takes turns every time you tell it. It's at least 5 stories that you've told. And in each of them, you say, well, he didn't say anything and he didn't do anything, but I felt like he was trying to try me. So was it his body language? Was it his eyes? Was he seducing you through the eyes? I really think this is a terrible, terrible storyline. Like, if you really felt like he had a little bit too much to drink, I didn't appreciate him coming to my room, you could have told Candace that. Y'all were hanging out in LA. When y'all took over the Real that week, y'all were all in LA. Y'all was going to dinner, you, her, and Ashley. Y'all was hanging out with MJ from Shaw's of Sunset. Y'all was hanging out with Kyle's black homeboy. The cute one. I don't remember his name. But y'all was all having a good time. How were you comfortable with her in your presence if you felt like this about her husband? You was making jokes, talking about she broke. You were saying a lot of stuff about Candace, and you had this on your chest about Chris. We don't believe you. They asked her on Watch What Happens Live last week if Chris made you feel uncomfortable. Why weren't you uncomfortable hugging him at the Spring Fling party? You didn't answer the question. You dodged the question. You dodged it. You didn't answer. Because it wasn't even just like you said, hey, what's up, Chris? And you just gave him like a church hug. No, you stood up. When you saw Chris coming, you stood up and you wanted him to acknowledge you. Hello, sir. You stretching your neck so that he could see you seeing him. And you lean in for the hug. I wouldn't want to hug him if he made me uncomfortable. Yeah. I think Gizelle and Ashley cooked this up because they wanted to humble Candace. They wanted to tap her on that shoulder. You wanted to have this trump card in your back pocket for the rest of y'all days on Potomac. Anytime Candace get out of line, y'all be like, your man was trying to get with me. Oop, your man was trying to flirt with Ashley. And it's not going over the way y'all thought it was going to go over. And it's really fucked up. Like, how y'all expect this man's children to look at him? He has a daughter. He has a daughter. You never know. Like, y'all know how things start, but y'all never know how things are going to end up. What if something happened with custody with his ex-wife and y'all are going around promoting this lie? I guess we're just gonna have to see how this plays out, but I just want to put my 2 cents into it. Like when she said a grown woman doesn't do this, a grown woman, what do you mean? You're telling this woman the man that she married is a creep. And you expect her to just let it go. Where they do that at? Who's letting that go? Clearly you let it go when Jamal cheated on you. Ashley let it go when Michael was doing what he was doing. Mia probably don't care what the hell Gordon does as long as she keeps the money is coming in. They don't care. But Candace didn't marry her husband for money and all that shit. She married her husband because she loves that man. And you're telling her that the man that she loves, the man that she married, is a whole different human being than who she knows him to be. And you think that's not a big deal? You just want her to go along with it. Giselle, you full of shit, girl. You are. You really are. Oh, just tell him not to ask me to go to private rooms. I'm sorry, but this sounds very familiar. This sounds like season 3. We all know that Ray wants to be with Erica Lyles for the night. Anytime he sees Erica, he leaves Karen in the dust. That's what this sounds like to me. And so you got away with that. Karen let that ride because Karen had many things on her plate. Her parents were dying. They had the tax issue. They done moved into this house. She had to pay bills and she ain't never had to pay bills in her life. Her daughter, she had things on her plate. She couldn't be bothered. So she let it go. But that's what this reminds me of. You was screaming Erica Lyles in France. And then when y'all were in the car, Ashley was like, Ray doesn't want to be with you. Ray said he going to Florida with or without you. He told my husband that. That's what this sounds like. The tacky twosome, they strike again. That's what this is. I mean, we already knew you was lying, Gizelle. We knew. But going on Carlos King's podcast ain't do you no favors. Robin trying to walk back some of her statements on Watch What Happens Live, that didn't do you no favors, girl. Child, this reunion, gonna be something else. This reunion gonna be something else. And Candace and Chris, they're not taking their foot off of your neck. And they really shouldn't. They shouldn't, because if you're going to say that this man is this person, he has a right to defend himself. He has every right to defend himself. People are like, oh, that's women business. Y'all don't know what women business is. Chris has every right to defend himself. Michael is okay with people calling him those things as long as it don't affect his money, because he know what he is. Jamal know he a cheater. So when y'all call him a cheater, he don't care nothing about that. But if Chris is not that, if he not a cheater, he not a creep, he not gonna be okay with y'all labeling him as such. So he has a right to fight back, and his wife has a right to fight back. Candace has been the most vocal about Michael Darby because she really felt the way. And to be very honest, if I'm working with someone and they lose their job because they were violated, I would feel a way too. You couldn't possibly expect that Candace, who was the most vocal for the cameraman, to be okay with Chris being presented as a creep. If you want her to believe what you said about Chris, you know that's like, that's grounds for divorce. Come on. That's grounds for divorce. Just because you were okay with your man being a cheater and Ashley's okay with her husband doing all the stuff that he does, every woman is not okay with that. Candace don't got to be okay with that. But yeah, I don't know. The more I watched this season, the more I realized that maybe Wendy did not overreact. Because last year I thought she was overreacting. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she did not overreact. She could smell the bullshit coming. And she was like, oh no, y'all not going to do that with me and mine. And they had to redirect and say, okay, we're going to get Candace. Because I really think Gizelle was tired of y'all saying, she ain't got no man. She ain't got no man. She ain't got no man. So she had to let y'all know she could take y'all man. She could have y'all man if she wanted. Y'all man want her. She thought she was Evelyn. She thought she was Evelyn Lozada. Your man would hit all day. That's what she thought it was. And yeah, I don't know. Y'all made a bad mistake, Gizelle. Gizelle and Ashley. Ashley gonna get away with it, so we ain't even worried about Ashley. I'm gonna read her when the time comes. But Gizelle, girl, look like you gonna have to hold the bag on this. You fucked up. Like the moment she lied and told Carlos King, I never said he lured me back to the room. You did say that. You didn't say it verbatim, but that's what you said. He asked to come back to my room and he knew nobody was there. I thought someone was there. He knew nobody was there. He was trying me. He wanted to see if I was with it. He was complaining about his wife. I don't even believe none of that. How he go from being on that stage defending his wife 100%, even putting you in your place, and then he comes backstage and was all in your, and was what? And he was doing what to you, Gizelle? This season 7 is going to be something else. It's going to be something else. But anyways, that's all I really had to say for now. As this season continues, I'm sure I will have much more to say. But yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.